recording is now on. Greetings and welcome to Die Dragon Die presents the Grimstone Chronicles episode 11. I am your quasi-DM and host Marty, joined by Ahmed and Adam. Ahmed has just taken a quick dinner break, and Adam's mic is muted, so we'll make you be able to talk now. You're muted. You're unmuted now. Cool. How's it going, man?
I hate my internet service provider, who shall remain unnamed.
It can only be one of like 3 of them in the Toronto area.
There's 3 in Canada, and it's one of them, and it has been so hard to prepare for a game when it just nothing works, and you're like, I want to make a nope, no, you can't. So you're on tech support, they're like, did you try rebooting it? It's like, yes, I did. Okay, I need you to open up a command prompt. It's like, okay. Type in, hit the start button, and then click on the line and type C. I have a command prompt. What command do you want? Can you ping Google for me? Are you serious? Okay, yes. I get 1 out of 12 packets through.
It sounds painful.
Yeah.
But it seems to be working now. Fingers crossed. If not, then we're sharing the DM stick in this campaign. I DM'd last adventure. We're gonna do some downtime. I'm gonna keep the DM stick for the downtime because we were able to plan it while Adam was fighting with his ISP. Yeah, at some point though, I'm just gonna go DM stick now yours. As we've got 9 characters in the Steel Rose Mill, or the Steel Rose Watch, which is the new gang rising in the southern district of the city of Foundry on the Imperial world of Volcanica. Marty's ready to play D&D. Enough about the chit-chat. I'm ready to play D&D.
No, chit-chat.
Chit-chat, whatever.
First world problems.
No, I've been watching Community, which is pretty funny. It's a pretty funny comedy. It's made by the same guy, or written by the same guy who did Rick and Morty. Matt Harmon, I believe his name is. But yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like light and breezy, and there's a bit of meta humor to it, and it's been my like need to turn brain off now, giggle on the couch kind of show.
Yeah, I've been playing. That last night I downloaded the Jedi Fallen Order game that came out last year.
Yep.
I finally broke down. I'm like, and I was like, oh, fine, I'll buy it. It's on sale at 50% off. Sure, I'll buy it. And it's like AAA, lots of polish. It just doesn't feel as good. There's other games that's cloning. It's like it's too much animation. I don't know if you're familiar with. There's too much animation, which means moving from state to state, your character clunks because there's frames of animation that are extra upon your, like more than your action time.
Yep.
So it's like, yes, it's really beautiful. Oh, look how he moves, interacts with the environment. Yes, but I said turn left, and he wanted to finish wiggling his shoulder before turning left, and it just feels clunky for the Dark Souls-like Jedi game. It's also funny that stormtroopers are 1 hit with a lightsaber. The frog thing is 5. It's a frog. Yeah, I know the description says resistant to lightsaber, but 1 for the stormtrooper, 5 for the frog.
I feel sorry for stormtroopers sometimes. Especially that given a lot of them were pressed into service and had no choice.
Well, it's which era? The clone era or the slave era of Stormtrooper?
All right, why don't we do a recap of what happened last game? We named the game What a Croc.
That's a good name.
Yeah, I think I was Mark, or the stream, I forget. The party deals with the Sanctioned Wizard and the Smiling Manticore mercenaries. In the sewer, they treat with a strange hermit named Volkia. Duggan Schmurf trades with Volkia for a magic pair of slippers. Sunny's entangle spells messed with Volkia's web catchers, and the rod was sent tumbling into the depths of the storm drains. DM points might have been spent there. The party bravely plunges into the depths and faces the monstrous Big Daddy. Duggan Schmurf makes contact with the ancient crone called Coven of One, who is trying to work out a new type of divination magic. And I think the party basically dragged themselves out of the sewers and headed back towards the Steel Rose Mill. And you've got some decisions to make. You do also have this rod now in your possession. And the rod looks like a strange... Like the handle of some really big sword or something like that. It's got a strange metal ball at the end of it, almost like an ice cream scoop. And when you were like looking at it and having a look at it, there's something like clinking around in the end of the at the end of a hollow compartment at the top or the bottom of the rod, however you want to look at it. It is an arcane device. It is radiating a certain amount of magic. You also have captured the sanctioned wizard Azrodel, who you believe is a sanctioned wizard, even though the stream has the knowledge that his sanctioned wizard spellbook has forgery of stamps involved in it, as the Imperium is really aggressive in trying to control magic. And you also have a captured hippogriff that Capra knocked out during the fight. Those mercenaries all, like, when you go and check on them again, like, they freed themselves of their bonds and, like, ran off. You don't know if that is going to be a problem. So yeah, you have some immediate decisions to make as a party before we get into training, as the party has made their 4th level, and we do play with a house rules for training as you level up. It will take 5-day block to train from 3rd to 4th level. And most of the characters already have NPC contacts, and when we get there, we will let everyone know like who's training each of these characters, as connections to the game world are important. You could go it alone, but it'll be twice as long.
The reasons why the downtime rules were sort of instituted for leveling was that, especially later in the campaign, what we found was the first chunk of the campaign takes 3 to 6 months. Then levels 9 through 15 take about a week, 2 weeks, and then suddenly you're casting 9 circle spells.
Suddenly it's like why isn't every neighborhood sprouting archmages? You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So immediate decisions. Like, this is the day where you guys have you did the fighting with the mercenaries, and then you dragged yourselves out of the sewers. Capra almost was eaten by Big Daddy. Capra knows that he might go back down there to like try to get the leathers from Big Daddy. That might also be something you could do during your downtime, is go back to the to that old sewer lair. But immediate concerns. Let's just say that Amadeus is on guard duty. Duggan Schmerf is.
Well, we certainly did a number on those mercenaries. I hope they learn their lesson before they come back here. What are we going to do with him?
I got an idea.
Slake!
Dee Dee does not like
Slake's ideas.
Slake's ideas, yep. You get the sense from when I'm on the stairwell.
Stairwell?
Yeah. It's got all the unconscious bodies and that sort of thing. We'll say that Dassod is in Kev form. As you recently learned that Dassod is Kev is a shape changer. Yep. Named Dassod as opposed to Kev.
So what are we gonna do?
What precisely does sanctioned mean? Says Agony.
It means that the Imperials approved that he became a wizard and that he registers his capabilities with the Ministry.
Yeah, I'm a sanctioned rat catcher.
Yeah, because you got papers that say you're a rat catcher. And you got cards. Yeah. Business cards. Kind of gross.
He almost went out the Slake.
Yeah.
Take my card. No, I guess you know what. Okay, he puts it back in his pocket.
I know what you can do. You're a good archer, is what he says.
Sunny, are you sanctioned?
It's a good question.
Perish the thought. See what said. I am sanctioned by the gods to perform spells.
That sounds like no.
Yeah. So if anyone asks if you're a wizard, you tell them that your animal companion is a cow.
Yes. Who's the wizard?
Yeah, exactly. Just like that.
Duggan's like, right, alright, we solved that. Sunny's a confused wizard, not a wizard. What are we gonna do with that asshole over there who yelled about him being sanctioned wizard? Does that mean in trouble if he gets disappeared? I think it just means he is registered to cast magic. Alright, so he's not an Imperial then.
Well, does he have an Imperial sanction?
Just the stamps in a spellbook that says he's allowed to cast magic. It's like you have a permit. That doesn't make you Imperial.
Well, so he was really loud, right? And
Shut up, Kevin.
Kev eats people and turns into them.
Don't eat people. You just need a little bit of them.
He eats a little bit of people, and then he can turn into them.
It's not the same thing.
Don't worry, it's useful right now. Although, you don't... There's no other Kevs, is there? There's just one of you?
As I told you before, I found Kev's body dead. He was already dead. So I just took a little bit of him and I absorbed him and I became Kevin.
Did you absorb him through your mouth hole?
Nope. Don't have to do it that way. It's not like if I eat a chicken, I become a chicken. Come on now. Come on.
Really
And his drunken staggered, like he is, even though you know, it's like your eyes are and ears and even the smell is just
lies.
It's just lies, yeah.
Right,
so easy to forget.
He was really loud. So can you yell sanctioned wizard business really loudly, like he did?
What do you mean, like this? And yeah, Kev turns into... He walks around the corner, because apparently he does that trick. And let me...
He doesn't like to see, like...
Yep. And a non-injured Azrael the Sanctioned appears. Too many of them. I'm a sanctioned wizard. I'm a and he's like... His voice is dropping and raising by octaves. I'm a sanctioned wizard! And
there we go.
His disguise check for his particular disguise is plus 35. 54.
So we take him and he goes on the hippogriff and then he flies around the district going, I'm a sanctioned wizard, out of my way, sanctioned wizard business. And then he flies to another district, and then we sell the hippogriff.
Okay, so you do see that in his, like, ID, like, most people carry papers. He has papers, and stuffed into, like, his, I guess it would be almost like a citizen card or a citizen paper, stuffed into his wallet, for lack of a better word, is some sort of like receipt or ticket that you think is a registration for a flying mount.
Oh, look at it. Hey, what's its name? Its name is 342B768.
Yeah. Yeah, it has a different stamp in it, and like it's like he's registered and allowed to have this hippogriff.
So we're going to put hippogriff 342B768 is what this hippogriff's name is.
You also find a permit to transport dangerous Give me a second. The chupacabra. I just needed another type.
Monstrous humanoids?
He has a permit to transport 2 Class 6 magical beasts.
That would be useful. Do these permits have his name on it?
Yes.
History tells us that they might also be forged.
Or he used his
know that.
forge sanctioned in order to get the real permits
to get the real version of the permits.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if you care about those things. Those things are probably written down somewhere. I did not write them down in the treasure.
Yeah, no, I'm going to. We're going to use those. So, all right.
Yeah, Duggan's like, you should probably keep those. I think there's probably some use for these. The Imperials sure like their paperwork.
Yeah, and we could at least use it as like a template in case we wanted to pretend like we had something.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like they come up with the symbols and then they get excited when you show them the symbols again.
Maybe they like to play the flashcard thing when they're kids. It's just as adults, they like it just more complex version, right? Where you put down the.
But I am a sanctioned wizard, says Kevin.
Oh, he's really good at that.
We have a wizard here.
It means we don't need the other one.
Oh, no. That one knows stuff. We should interrogate him. Nicely.
I don't think you know the word. What interrogate means.
Oh, I do, and you guys do it wrong.
Dee Dee's gonna fly over. Let's do DM points for a moment.
Permit for flying mount. Permit for class
6 magical beasts.
Magical beasts.
2 of them.
Beasts.
All right. We each have 3 DM points. We're gonna carve up Mark's DM points because he's not here today. We're gonna give 1 to the stream, 1 to Ahmed, and 1 to myself because Adam is the DM for the majority of tonight.
So, just for funsies,
yeah.
You could take 1 DM point off my list because I bullshitted up the adventure a little bit.
Got it. I will take that. I'll take that out of Mark's thing, and I'll only have 3.
Oh no, that's fine.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. All right. So Dee Dee's going to start to use her detect thoughts to interrogate the prisoner. You have like 5 days of downtime while training, so eventually he will fail. Like,
yeah. So, where do we think we could sell a hippogriff with papers?
You don't know. Like, there's no market in the old stacks Capra that you know of. There is a contact that you have in the old stacks that knows where beasts can be sold. He is the guy who taught you taxidermy. His name is called the Mad Gatter.
Cool.
And his shop is kind of where everyone was shopping before, where the fight took place. Like, his shop's kind of buried. He's really into a weird form of taxidermy, and we'll get to a role playing encounter with him. Maybe that is a
in the short term.
Yep.
Azrael is going to fly the hippogriff the second the storm subsides a little bit.
Yep.
Our Azrael is going to put on the robe and go fly away talking about his sanctioned business. He's going to fly across town. He's going to go into the warehouse, like the rat den warehouse.
Yep.
And then from there, we'll basically sewers back to the...
Okay, and you're going to stoosh the hippogriff in the lizard lair in the rat den. That is an awesome idea. Also being very publicly like, no, the sanctioned wizard flew away.
He flew away. Sanctioned wizard got away.
Nice.
He didn't even have a fight. He's sanctioned wizard business.
All right, so I'm going to move the token of the hippogriff into the rat den.
Cool.
And that means that as long as you have somebody like checking in on it and throwing it some food every once in a while. Capra remembers hearing that the wizard would feed it a horse later, so apparently they like horse flesh. Dee Dee is refusing to, if you tell her or overhears that you want to feed one of the horses to the hippogriff, she's saying no.
It's the circle of life.
She's named the horses, so no.
Azrael will buy a horse in Azrael form. Azrael at that side of town is going to buy a horse.
Got it. Subtract off of Dassod's money that you buy like an old nag and like 50 gold pieces for like an old rundown horse that ends up being food for the hippogriff. Okay, this means that you do eventually have some progress with Azrael the Sanctioned. I'm going to say that Azrael knows the following. I don't know who's partaking in the interrogation. But actually, Dee Dee interrogates him with Detect Thoughts, and then Dassod can also cast Detect Thoughts at will. Like, he has, like, at will. So it's just basically you get put into the doppelganger's hands, and he will eventually read your surface thoughts. So yeah. Azrael was hired by the Reclamations Department of the Smiling Manticore Mercenary Company. He was given the rod that you find out is a rod of metal and mineral detection.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that something called Q metal is inside both of the golems.
Q metal.
Q metal.
C-U-E, Q-U-E, Q.
Q-metal.
Metal.
Or Q-stone. I forget. It's in the list of samples.
Okay.
Yep. And the little samples that is in the compartment at the end of the rod is Q-stone.
Cool.
Q-stone looks like give me a second, let me find a picture of this.
So the rod is not like this is a different rod that has Q-stone stuck in it. Am I confused?
No. The rod that he was using that pinged their heads was detecting Q-stone.
Okay.
And by detecting Q-stone, it was just driving them nuts because they apparently have Q-stone inside of them.
Okay.
Q-stone looks like a weird, really, really yellowy rock.
Like arsenic looking?
Like you're pretty sure if you applied any pressure to it, it might start to crumble and flake away.
It's like asbestos. It's a serpentine. Cool.
He was given this by a specialist in the Manticore Mercenary Company. He doesn't know the specialist's name, but he knows the name of the man in the Smiling Manticore Mercenary Company who is in charge of this case. The other two mercenaries, the warrior with the sword and the warrior with the crossbow, were like special agents, like they were like veteran Manticore mercenaries. And the urban tracker is the one that was hired or that is associated with the Manticore that tracked the golems down to this general district. The reason why you had not seen them like earlier was that they were watching the markets to see where the golems were going to be sold.
They were looking for somebody to sell them as inanimate objects.
And when when rumors started appearing of golems wandering around the district, this wizard assumed that somebody was controlling them to their own benefit and was fully expecting fully controlled, behaved golems that he would march out of here and then get the reward. The reward for reclaiming them was 10 grand apiece.
That's a lot of heist, Slake. I mean, if we're really hard up, we could probably try to turn you in, get the money, and then bust you out again.
Okay. Azrael, let's see. We'll say the surface thought if he's not actually a sanctioned wizard comes to mind. Let's say 1, he's boned. No, he didn't really...
He's not focusing on that.
Not focusing on that, right. He might even believe his own lie after a certain period of time.
I passed the test!
Now, do any of you play with the rod of metal and mineral detection? He doesn't tell you the command word, so I guess you need to do a spellcraft check.
Yep.
Identify. If you identify it, the DC would be 24, I think.
So,
15
Marty,
plus. Yep.
there's an arcane skill challenge after the first few days of downtime.
Got it.
So
That's what this is.
That's what this is.
Okay, great. So this is he hasn't spilled the beans yet about the rod, but you starting to piece together what the rod is, and you the Q stone is weird, but yeah, Dee Dee's learned some of this stuff. What are you doing with the wizard? Are you sticking him in jail in the rat den, or are you giving him to Slake, who's basically going to feed him to the lizard in the basement? Or are you keeping him just tied up in the steel rows? Are you setting him free? What are you doing with him?
That is a very difficult question to answer. Sonny forgot who he was. Sonny doesn't know who he is. It's fine.
All right, so I think the inner circle, which is the original party of Dee Dee, Slake, Duggan, Agony, Cog, Capra. Slake wants to get rid of him. So he's in the get rid of him camp. Duggan's going to tie break anything. Dee Dee wants to set him free. Like, he's learned his lesson. He doesn't have anything. We're going to keep his stuff, set him free.
I see where this is going, Marty, by the way.
What's that?
This is going to happen, and then, well, this is a tiebreaker, so what does Capra want? Is how I see this going.
You know what? I'm gonna roll 2 d20s,
Yep.
one for Slake, and one for Dee Dee. And Agony is willing to go from completely get rid of the wizard into we'll just keep him on ice for now.
Keep him on ice for now.
Yep. Do we think Cog would want to just keep him on ice, or do you want to? Would Cog say set him free?
I don't think Cog is definitely not set him free. That's not.
He doesn't know anything. He was just hired. It's the people that are in the reclamation department that will know more names.
Right, but he.
We already have his blood for Kev.
Right, but.
He's a bit arrogant, but I guess that's wizards.
Oh.
Not you, Sonny. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Cog, because Alman's not here, is going to move his vote to. We'll just put him in the jail cell for now.
Why are you looking at me? See, he's a human, and he's part of the Imperium, which means that by the law, we're supposed to be helping them. And how do we help him? Like, the sweet release is kind of it's not like he's not crippled, is he? Is he crippled?
I'd rather not use my contacts with the Briars, says Duggan Schmurf. I could just make him disappear.
What do you mean disappear?
Oh, Faye's got ways of making men's disappear. He might disappear in the wilderness. He might go wherever they send them.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Dee Dee is in the set it free, right?
Yeah.
If you love it, set
Yeah.
it free.
Yep.
How about we talk about this later?
All right. Poor Azrael ends up in Finian's old cage, tied up in the prison cell. Yeah, Kinkillian's old cage. So there we go.
Oh, okay. Nobody tortures him, though. I don't like that.
All right.
Hey, maybe he'll forget.
Right, you old wizard.
Huh?
I met someone that you might want to talk to. I mentioned that you got holes in your brain and she's got scrolls and she's an old lady. You're an old man and, well, she's different.
Are you trying to set me up on a date?
Do you want to be set up on a date? Yeah, she'll bring your cow. She might like the cow. She's very lonely. She's got lots of scrolls and she talks weird like you do.
Here, mister.
Fetch your things. I'm gonna go bring them over there. Everyone seems to be busy with their own things as trainers for level. Dee Dee's going to spend some time with Drewbarth Bumblefeather, who is the old doddering pixie who runs the fairy area in the old stacks, which is the marketplace for potions and magic inks and alchemy and that sort of thing. We've talked about the fairy area before. Slake will spend some time with alum knight Staten Benson, who stops by to pick up his Vecchia, and Slake will end up just talking with him, and they'll talk about like crafting, and he'll give Slake pointers, what he's doing wrong in his forge. All of Slake's skills went towards craft. Like, even his perception didn't go up. It's like he wants to be able to craft weapons and armor, and he can finally craft weapons now. He will eventually be the factory for masterwork javelins. They're about 100 gold pieces a piece when you craft them, and he's just going to crank them out. His feat after leveling is brutal throw as well, so there's a reason why 28 strength javelin throws are a thing. Cog and Agony are going to go and train with Dalthan Silverclaw. This was the silver dragonborn that you had met, who is familiar, the wormling familiar dragon, Doaki, that you rescued. And Agony will probably hate Dalthan, but end up learning stuff from him. Like, Cog will like the training, and Agony will hate every minute of it, and it'll be interesting. Duggan's going to spend some time with Capra's uncle, Mulberry Nighthorn, as if he's going to lead a gang, he probably wants to learn from somebody who already...
How to lead a gang.
How to lead a gang. Amadeus is going to be trained by Finian Rumsby, the bounty hunter that we haven't met yet. And Dassod is going to spy upon all the other characters who are training and pick up things here and there.
He doesn't know what class is going up, does he?
No, it's just he's going to, as a doppelganger, train that way. Capra is going to spend some time, I think, with Mad Gatter the taxidermist, and we can have a little role-playing thing with Mad Gatter, as well as Coven of One, as Duggan is going to introduce Sunny to the Coven of One. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do Mad Gatter.
Okay. I'm going to take Capra, and I'm going to move him to, or I'll just go to Neighborhood Old Stacks.
Okay. I'm going to go there as well.
And I'm going to get rid of all those mercs. Oh, there are they. If you're a DM and looking for other rogue tokens, they're all up in the corner. Yep.
Nice.
Grab Capra. So Mad Gatter probably has the same feats as you, where he can build trophies and that sort of thing. He's also a taxidermist, and you've been meaning to check in on him, but you just have been busy up until this point.
Oh.
There's Capra. And the Mad Gatter's shop is in the basement of this building right here. Mad Gatter's taxidermy. There's this horrible little shop, and then he's got all sorts of like taxidermic creations hanging out in this little courtyard. You hop the fence, which is how you have to get to his place, and you walk through all sorts of drying leather and other things. He must be busy at the moment. You go walking into his shop. There's a little bell that rings, and his shop is filled with all sorts of fantastic, not real in nature, you don't think, creatures of his own creation. Like there's all sorts of weird taxidermy.
The tentacle rat is a thing that's like, oh my. Scale that thing up to huge and tell me what your nightmares are.
Yeah, each of these things has a story. Mad Gatter's actually, well, like some artists, kind of mad. He
Is that you, Capra?
Yeah.
Ah,
he eyes you, and you can't help but feel that he might be like looking at your little bits and bobs and like having ideas of what to do with them, but he shakes that thought away, which confirms that maybe he was.
See, you finished your long neck giraffe.
my what?
The long neck giraffe. I'm assuming that's what you call it.
Oh, yes, it's a good name for it. Write that down on a card, shall you?
Alright.
Yes. As I said before, why couldn't there be this creature? If the gods can create whole entire races and worlds full of things, why can't Mad Gatter create something?
Yeah. Well, with the spell,
Seeing is believing.
Flawless.
With the spell, we could also, make it move around.
See? This one is a, it's a warg.
You're pretty sure he didn't start off with a warg to create the warg, but he ended up creating a warg or something.
I would have put warg in little apostrophe. It's a warg. Oh.
Doesn't he look smart?
It looks good.
Yes.
Is that Jackal?
It's a warg.
Sorry, I thought that. Sorry, I just thought that was a piece of, flying monkey.
Tendrils that's wrong.
Oh, you took a look at the mouse finally?
Oh, this is wrong. All sorts of wrong.
There are some theories that man sprouted from monkeys. This one is a smart monkey. You could have smart monkeys. Why wouldn't a monkey enjoy a nice cocktail? He's smart, which means he has the troubles of the world on his back. Which also have wings, which help. Didn't help him, though.
And a little hat. Look at the little hat.
Smart things like clothing.
Yeah, usually you put the clothing around like a kilt, around the business.
Yeah, maybe a fig leaf.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I don't have customers.
There's some shame. It's one of those things, once you learn, then you get shame.
Yes.
Like the burden of smarts is...
Ever since I wanted to do some alterations on that old lady's cat.
Did she say no?
Eh.
The flying bunny, that's cute. I know somebody would like that. That is a bunny, right?
It's
Is that a groundhog? Maybe a groundhog.
It's an air hog.
Oh, so it makes burrows in the air?
In the clouds, yes!
And it digs at the clouds and, yeah.
Or up high in the eaves. Yes, it's an eaves hog.
Okay, yeah. That works.
I was like, what's going on?
We're agitating an old man's madness. The what do you call it? Like the duck, the Deccan, the chicken, chickadee.
It's the chick of Hades. There's a three-headed dog down there. Why aren't there three-headed birds? Cock-a-doodle-doing everyone's demise.
Does the one in the middle get to move the legs in the back, or does the one...
These questions don't know. Part of taxidermy is taking out all the insides and filling it full of straw.
Well, when you fill it full of straw, then it doesn't become an infestation, and can be used as a warning to others.
Yes, chick of Hades. Write that one down.
Oh, I got it. Here's the of Hades. This thing is horrible.
Hey, yes, I had a bunch of spare tails. You know, the rat traps end up just sometimes taking their tails.
Yeah. So is it supposed to be eating from those ones coming out of the face, or?
I wanted to call this one Tale of Tales. Perhaps I took some poetic license with this one.
Maybe it's a roper made of rats, so it's a rapper.
Yes, that's a good name for it. Write it down.
Rapper. Okay, so we got like a chipmunk and a butterfly. So,
A buttermonk.
buttermonk.
A chipfly?
I was thinking a chipfly, but buttermonk is also good. Yeah, I'll put both down, just in case.
Yes, also known as...
Yeah, buttermonk, also known as a chipfly.
This one is new.
A leopard or bobcat crossed with a bird, toucan cat,
A
bobcan.
a bobcan toucat.
Yeah, bobcan too.
Oh, a horned bobcan toucat. He taps it.
Horned bobcan toucat.
Yes, very rare.
Yeah, I've never seen one before. That thing. See, that looks like a pest, and that looks like a pest, and that looks like dinner, and that one looks like a pest, and that one looks like good conversation, and that thing probably is a pest, and then this one is a predator that's probably a big problem, and then this one looks like somebody who helps you get rid of the pests.
Yes. There's a whole ecology here, isn't there?
Yeah, it's like the pyramids.
He settles in, and you spend some time talking to Mad Gatter. Mad Gatter does know things about a lot of creatures that are real. The trick is to try to like suss out the fake ones from the real ones.
Well, this is a good level for Capra because I went and I put a point into like dungeoneering and arcane and to all those knowledges, so that he could at least try to make a taxidermy.
Nice.
Clearly,
You learn that Mad Gatter will buy your taxidermic creations. I don't know if he's considered a merchant or not. Let me check our merchant sheet.
let's see. Shops and merchants.
Mad Gatter's taxidermy. So he can buy up to 2,500 gold pieces worth of taxidermic creations, and he can sell weird trophies and that sort of thing up to 500 gold pieces. So you can actually buy weird things from him. I didn't finish filling it out, but
Cool.
he ends up training Capra for the next 5 days as you gain your level and learn more about monsters. Is there anything else that you need from Mad Gatter?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Nothing is jumping to mind. So
Okay. And then we'll go to Sunny and Duggan Schmurf. I'm gonna grab them from the stairwell, and
we're on.
you're bringing your cow with you, right?
Yes, Mr.
Okay, I'll grab you from the outside entrance then.
And then we are the Covenwood Orrery.
Yeah, he's gonna bring you to the Gargs.
The Gargs. Oh my. That's not the Fars. That's not the Farscape race. That's something else.
Okay, right. So we haven't mentioned that we killed the crocodiles in the sewers.
Those crocodiles shouldn't have been in the sewers.
Yes, she said she fed them because she didn't want them small enough to get up the stairs, so she kept on feeding them. Not sure what she fed them, and I think this lady's really old. She's got all sorts of weird magic and scrolls and things, but I couldn't make heads or tails of them because I'm not a wizard.
I like magic.
Let me know if there's anything worth pinching, anything worth taking. She doesn't seem particularly attached to the things she owns. She said the Imperials came and stole a bunch of stuff before.
Oh, that's not good. You shouldn't steal magic. It should be shared.
Great! She can share her magic with us.
Isn't that right, mister? We like to share, don't we? Ooh.
Big cowlick.
Hmm.
Yes. Hello! Okay, so you start going up the steps. He brings you over into another neighborhood completely. And you're going to find your way back, right?
I'll find my way.
Right. Okay, you go up these winding steps, and it's this large tower-like building with a dome on top of it. It looks really old, made from stone. You go up the steps, and the immediate thing that you notice is that the double doors leading into the place, one of them has a horned gargoyle that has like a ring in its mouth, one of the doors, and the other doors has a patch where like a similar gargoyle is missing. And you recognize the the gargoyle with the ring in its mouth as the same style and looking gargoyle that is hanging right now on the door in Grenimir's shop.
I've seen one of these before.
You need to enable Wither King notifications. I do send out a notification when I start stream, both on Twitch and on Discord. So there's a setting somewhere on each of those apps.
You can also check your IP address.
We don't talk about IP addresses because mine falls out. I blame you. Okay, we'll knock the magical knocker.
Yeah, you like the thing opens its eyes and like looks up at you like it's animate and.
Hello. There is apparently an oracle or a seer here.
Closes its eyes. Then opens its eyes again, and there's sort of a smile on its face. Looks a little bit sleepy, but it was happy to see you, and the door grinds open.
She must have known we were coming.
Right, she's creepy, so I'm going to make a quick introduction, and then I'm going to leave and just leave you here.
Okay. clean Mistra's hooves before coming in the house.
Right. You go up the stairs, and there are some side chambers that are kind of empty. There's one where it must have been a cloak room, and for some reason there were like 100 cloaks all just sort of thrown there, but they've turned into a moldering mice nest, basically. Mr. goes and sniffs at the old moldering cloaks, but doesn't chew on them, and follows you up the steps. You end up in this weird chamber full of slowly cranking machinery, knowledge arcana.
Okay. The knowledge of the arcane. Now that we have the fun mode installed locally on the machine. Look, 15.
You know what it's called. It's called an orrery, but you don't recognize any of the, like, you know, the thing at the middle must be the sun. You don't recognize any of the orbs around it. You haven't studied this world. You're confused a little bit. Like, you know what the device is, but nothing that you're seeing here is really familiar. It is moving very slowly. Hello?
It's Duggan Schmerf. I have brought you a wizard to talk to. Hey, not to eat.
You brought a wizard.
Why would I want to eat a wizard? Wizards are not for eating, are they?
I don't believe so. Wizards tend to be skin and bone.
This one's skin and bone indeed.
She's like something's wrong with her eye. It's like it almost like rolled around completely into the back of her head and now is adjusting, and she's blinking, trying to blink it back into place. One eye socket is completely empty, and there's this weird third eye thing that is in the middle of her forehead. She's large, she's hag-like, kind of ogress. You're having a hard time discerning what race she is.
I will try. Nature, arcane.
You could start with nature.
25.
She's definitely a hag, but you're having a hard time discerning what variety of hag.
If I'm not mistaken, no, and not to use the word of the, not to use the normal human nomenclature, but a hag of some variety, the race.
My eyes must be tricking me.
And she takes out her eyeball and is like, she goes over to a pan with some water in it, like a bowl, and she puts her water in and splooshes it around, and then looks at her own eyeball and rubs it on her weird nightgown, and then puts it back in.
Mr. Doctor.
She's looking again.
Step forward. Move your hair back so I can have a good look at you.
Sunny will move Mr. forward and then wipe the hair out of Mr.'s eye.
Not the cow.
Oh.
You wizard.
That's right, he's a wizard. He's strange. I thought the two of you should meet.
I like spells, magic, different varieties.
Vrastuna stirdak vorastika.
Which language?
Let me check.
Trade common, druidic, sylvan, terran, aquan, orin, ignan.
Nope.
Draconic.
None of those. She tries a different language.
He'll respond in ignan. Like,
Fire tongue? No, I try this one.
She goes over to the same bowl and she takes a drink from it and starts to gargle like. Nope, that might be Aquan, but she's not. It's gobbledygook in Aquan. I don't know if you speak Aquan, but
I speak aquan.
she's gargling. She spits out into the same bowl and puts it down.
He'll create water into his mouth.
Yep.
And he'll speak some aquan.
There is like a weird reverberation in your head, Sonny. Like there's something really deep in the recesses of your memory that is being called forward. She is speaking a language that you know simply as arcane. It is the language that from which all magic derives.
It's like all verbal components derive from this.
And so too does true naming magic.
Okay, so am I familiar with arcane or am I no arcane?
You must be rusty because you forgot you knew how to speak it. She asked you... What is the secret of 1 and 1 that makes 3?
And Adam knows the answer to this, but does Sunny know the answer to this?
Give me an in check.
Okay. 15?
Yeah, this is pretty basic, but...
Unfortunately, I don't remember I don't remember arcane clearly, but the answer to your question is base 2. In base 2, 1 and 1 make 3.
Yes. Humans have 10 fingers. 10 fingers, so 10 numbers.
But snakes have no fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And there are
Yes.
snakes that cast spells, so obviously magic transcends that which you have for fingers.
Yes, beings who first counted. Beings who sit at the center of law. Beings who created numbers. They did not have 10 fingers. At least not to start.
There are many powerful numbers within magic. 10 is not all of them.
Are you saying you know this?
Prime elements.
I get the sense that you know him.
Know him once I may have. Something wrong?
My memory's not too good. I apologize if I forgot something that I shouldn't have.
What's with cow? Never have cow before?
Mistra. Mistra is my companion.
She just starts laughing.
Your name cow Mistra? You lucky you're on this world and not another. Name cow Mistra? On other worlds? You might be burned at stake. Or it's turned into steak.
It's a comforting name. It seemed appropriate. A source of comfort. Source of life.
She goes over and goes to this drawer where there's got to be 100 different lenses. She puts a couple, one she kind of waves away, and she has to fiddle with her eye a little bit, and eventually puts a monocle in, and then she looks at
something
The
wrong.
other eye have an eye like she got like a magical eye thingy that pops out, and the other eye, is it there or is it an empty socket? Or
it's
is
an
it
empty
mostly
socket
light?
on her left side. There's a monocle in front of her good eye that she actually took out to wash off when she first met you, and then there's a third eye in her forehead.
Okay.
She's like looking at you, and she flicks this thing a couple times.
Something wrong with this one.
She tosses the lens back into the drawer that that Duggan's now like looking to see what the fuck it was.
If it's broken and you put it in the drawer with the good ones, then you're always going to find it again.
Yes. Leave this one with me. We will discuss. We will find out. Maybe new divination? New divination inside? Maybe new divination? Shed light on this mystery? Leave him with me. He can't hurt Coven of One. He's too small. Forgotten? Empty? New? Cow?
Mistress, sit.
Yeah, Mister puts her hind legs down. That's a pretty well-behaved cow, if you don't. So all right. I told you, Head Wizard. We'll come back for him later. Make sure you teach him all sorts of fireballs and things because he needs to be useful. Not too useful, otherwise he gets smushed by Slake. But he needs to be useful.
Just useful enough.
Just useful enough, Don't fix him too much. Useful fireball.
Little far away from balls of fire.
I don't have interest in fireballs.
Right, just teach him some spells, will you? He's got money if you need to buy, I don't know, whatever you wizards buy.
Coven of One will teach you.
Hi, I'm Sunny.
Sunny? Is that what you call yourself now?
It seemed appropriate.
She's now like looking underneath your. She's checking you out, like.
Not broken? All intact? Cow? Mister?
Mister perks up, like the cow recognizes her name.
We can do.
She glances at Duggan.
But if you find Atomi, you find I.
Right, show him the weird thing where we're all made of space.
Yes, we will get into that. New divination? You will help me with new divination?
I like magic. I like divination magic.
He likes magic? What a surprise!
We all like magic, don't we, Mr. Oh, we like magic.
Age, we do not wear very well, do we?
How? I don't know how old I am.
I don't know how old I am. After a certain age, you stop counting. Counting for pride. Then sometimes you just forget. That's how old Coven of One is. She forgot. Stop counting in days, years. Start counting in ages.
How? Your model
She
doesn't look right.
No. Hasn't worked right in a while. We're behind. You tell me the right date, and I'll get you to wind it up. But you're looking pretty weak. Maybe we teach you magic to wind.
I like magic.
As you said. Go, Tommy, go. I talk to Wizard. I talk to him.
Right, we'll be back in about 5 days or so. Have fun, Sonny. But not too much fun. Learn Fireball. Thanks.
But I don't want to.
Ah. Never met you so small. Never conversed with you so empty. Coven of One forgot much, but you've forgotten more.
Well, perhaps it is an opportunity.
Yes. Once the vessel starts to fill in, it would be crime to replace it. You like knowledge? You like learning?
I like to read.
You see this?
And she tosses a scroll at your feet.
You need to read this. You need to read this.
She's just tossing bundles of scrolls onto the floor. Pretty soon, there's this massive carpet of scrolls in front of you. As she's now eyeing you.
Sonny will sit down. Like Sonny's going to sit down. Mistress is going to sit down behind him. He's going to lean against Sonny like it's the back of a chair.
Yep.
Or Sonny's going to lean against Mistra. And we'll start reading scrolls.
Okay. You start learning things, and magic comes easy to Sonny. He seems to have a great deal of skill at this. His background trait is spellcasting prodigy, which we took from 3rd edition. And you have the right temperament to learn. And this creature doesn't go into very much detail about new anatomy, but at one point she does prick you with a pin when you weren't looking. She immediately moved over and put the drop of blood on like a little glass sleeve, and then dropped another glass sleeve on top of it, and ran over to this really small downwards pointing telescope thing and put it inside. And she spent the rest of the time, after just telling you to go read more things, trying to figure out whatever mystical puzzle she was looking at. She muttered new divination several times.
Can you see my soul with that device?
Not soul. Strength, weakness, blood, truth, fate, new divination. Not without. Without worked. When multiverse expanding. Multiverse no longer expanding. This junk no longer work. Must look within. New divination. New divination. Uncertain.
Hear that, Mister? New divination.
Mister's excited and happy, if you're excited and happy.
He's like, okay.
Yep.
He goes back to reading his files.
Yep, and then you learn some spells and spend some time scribing and that sort of thing. So Cog, you ended up going with Agony to train with the silver dragonborn that you met in Sylvan Acres.
Yeah. I can't remember what his name was.
Well, I've got the trainers down. His name was Delthan Silverclaw. He was the master of Doaki, the small silver dragon wormling. Like, the silver dragon wormling was his familiar. And
that's cool.
It's his familiar that you saved from those water mephits when he was out adventuring.
Yeah.
You learn that Delthan does serve a more powerful master by the name of Sejong Iron Tongue.
He's also a silver dragon, right?
Dragonborn. You have not met him. You don't know. You do know that he lives in a castle, or sometimes live in a castle that has been overgrown, that was at the center of the Sylvan Acres, which is the old Fey reservation that got overgrown by the city. He's sometimes there, and both you and Agony, during your time training with him, learned that Delphin Silverclaw and Dowaki are in charge of guarding a piece of Sejon's hoard. Apparently his master has great treasures, and part of his treasure, which they call a hoard, Dowaki let this slip.
Interesting.
That Sejong, like, he is tasked to guard part of his master's hoard. And this is very suspicious to Agony.
I want to read Sense Motive on Agony. How's he with the Silver Dragon? Because he knows. Because last time Cog was here, he heard the story about there was basically the chromatics versus the metallics, something like that.
So Agony, Agony and Delphin Silverclaw mix like water and oil. They immediately are on the wrong foot, and if Agony wasn't paying for him, and if paying for his services as a trainer, and if you weren't there, they probably would have already fought.
Okay, my sense motive was 25, so I guess I don't know.
Agony appreciates what this man can tell him, but he does not follow the same philosophy that Delphin does.
What's the difference in ideology?
Agony is a pragmatic nihilist, and Delphin Silverclaw is probably lawful good, an altruist. And there's probably some almost like deep-seated, maybe even a racial hatred there between Red Dragonborn and Silver.
Well, there's
Dragonborn.
Historical, right?
Yeah, there's historical Dragonborn.
So they're already starting off like the wrong foot.
Yes, he is much stronger than Agony, not necessarily strength-wise, but in his kung fu is much greater than Agony's. And he mixes spells with it. And Agony also doesn't like his cold breath. And Agony, while he definitely does not like Delphin, he puts up with the beratement and with the punishing, grueling training, because Agony knows that he needs to learn. He also has Cog there, who he
train with.
That he has trained with in the past, over the past couple of months. Agony seems to be bothered by Dowaki let slip that his master is tasked with guarding part of Sejong's hoard, and Agony seems to be taken back by that, almost like he doesn't want to be there after that was mentioned. You have a moment alone with Agony. Well, you don't really get tired. Agony does, and he's sort of toweling himself off after the last monk beating that the two of you had definitely received. You've got a moment to talk to him if you want.
Training's not bad, eh?
I don't think that we should be here. At least not I.
You seem to be doing well. I mean, I'm aware of the history between the types, but
do you think his master is a pirate?
I do not know. Why would you? I do not think so. From the way he is, and the way he behaves.
What about a conquering warrior?
You obviously seem to know more about this than I do. What is your hypothesis?
When was the last time that you heard of someone's wealth being called a hoard?
When it was a dragon. Dragons call their wealth hoards. Full-grown dragon.
From what little I was taught at my temple, Dragons once flew in the skies over Volcanica. By great numbers, both metallics and the
I was alive
chromatics.
during that time. Magnificent they were.
Likely during your time, although history seems to be swept away by the Imperium, yes. For all intents and purposes, yes. But the Imperium hunted them. They came with their strange magics and with their guns, and dragons rule no more.
Not here, anyways.
One of the ways that dragons have survived, at least the metallics, is that they can change form, similar to what we saw Kev doing.
Ah. So you hypothesize that his master is a true dragon?
Do you remember when you called his master a dragon and how he reacted the first time? You guys went, "Oh, so your master's a dragon?" And he's like, "Bloop, bloop, bloop." Like he was like,
Oh, okay.
you guys somehow like had this hunch.
So you feel that his master is a dragon, full dragon.
If he is a dragon with a horde and he has servants like this one, young dragons are not very rare, and yet there is a wormling silver dragon in front of us.
Ah, interesting. The master dragon might be siring other ones.
Dangling thread.
Damn point. Boom.
It's not needed. It's not gonna be entirely irrelevant for now. But we'll keep that as a possible thread.
We're too low level. No, that's like I like it. I do like it.
Dragons, at least the metallic, survived by hiding. I never thought that. I've never come across or even heard of one until now. Strange. If this dragonborn does serve a dragon, and he's guarding part of his horde, then apparently he's surrounded himself with a community of Fae. Perhaps there's some way that they are hiding with the Fae.
Or just in plain sight.
I'm not sure. The Imperium doesn't like dragons. Dragonborn are definitely residents of the Imperium, as I am, but true dragons?
Not unless they're not aware of it.
We should keep this quiet. I don't think he likes us mentioning it.
My lips are sealed shut. He does. He like taps his jaw and goes. Interesting to know, though.
I don't think he likes me very much.
Perhaps. Well, I gather he does not. Same as you do not like him.
Agreed.
Perhaps with some shared experiences that would go away. Hardships, perhaps. For training. But for now, I understand your feelings. Perhaps a common enemy. Right? But that's for another time.
I suppose hiding is difficult if you stay put. I've learned that lesson in the old stacks.
I don't think we're hiding anymore. Question is, Agony, when are your friends going to come looking for you?
I don't know. They went away on pilgrimage. I don't know when they'll be back.
Well, perhaps we can keep an eye out for them. Get a heads up. It's quite obvious that none of us are on our own anymore. And I, for one, am glad for it. So Slake, he doesn't show it, but he is.
You are at least improving.
He tilts his head back. I am satisfied with the life I have lived. I should not be here, but it's fine. This is another purpose for me. Something that I must do. Rescue my brethren. Slake will rescue his and get his revenge. Once I have done my task, I will seek the correct path to my paradise.
I will someday ask you and Slake for a favor.
That's not a problem, as it's a very difficult favor.
The same goes for the Fae.
It's something you should be aware of. Not concerned about.
It depends how bad my cult wants me back.
Ah, yes. No, don't worry. We are not alone anymore. None of us are.
No. I suppose we have taken a page right out of the humans' book. Safety in numbers.
The humans took it out of our book. By our, I mean... He points at his ears.
Yep.
Elves, you were like that before.
Yes, but the humans outnumbered the elves, if I understand.
That's when they crawled out of the trees.
They outnumbered the dragons, too. At least elves did, for a time. I wonder what will take them out.
Probably a small virus.
I sometimes think it will be themselves.
Very likely. We were able to manage our greed, and we were able to put the proper teachings into our younglings so that we do not destroy ourselves. They apparently care not for the younglings and teach them nothing. So their greed and, well, they care not for each other.
I haven't seen many elves. And I also wonder about my own race. Did dragons create us in humans' images? Why would dragons need creatures this small?
Perhaps it wasn't dragons that created you. Life itself just happens. Yes?
Tell that to them. Everything needs a reason to them.
No. Not in my opinion.
Nor mine.
So have you rested yet? Still jogging in spot.
Yep. That
Watch this,
which
I can hold my breath.
I suppose there is a point. My scales will be stronger after this beating that we have been taking daily.
So, Ahmed brings up an interesting point around you make humans better by beating the crap out of them. Machines, it's the opposite, right? You don't beat the crap out of the machine to make it better. You, like, polish it, and take it apart, and put it back together again. And,
Keep it well oiled.
Down
Yeah, exactly.
It's...
Okay, so I think we've done training. We had some cool conversations during the downtime portion of training.
Who was Slake's trainer again?
Slake's trainer was
it was the Becky guy.
alumni Staten Benson had stopped by and ended up teaching Slake a little bit about crafting. Slake wants to learn crafting weapons, and he learned from alumni Knight Benson. Okay, let's go to our downtime sheet and move on to the next thing. So I think training was interrupted by a problem.
There is a problem.
You guys are all 4th level now?
Yes.
All right. Who all has used magic device or arcane spells?
Got it. I'm going to hand the DM stick over to Adam. I'm also going to take a quick bio break because I've been just drinking pop and water like mad.
You've been just living off of pop and water?
Yeah, exactly. I'll be right back.
All right. All right, so let's make this list on it while Marty's off piecing.
Not now. Sorry. يغسل. Ça va?
You're not muted.
My
I
gosh.
think you are.
Sorry.
That's all right. All right. Okay. So. Dee Dee Duggan. Be Dee Dee Duggan. Dee Dee or Duggan, I think. I've lost my chat. Here's my chat.
All right, I'm back. Hello, Adam. How are you doing?
But not too bad yourself. So it's going to be Dee Dee. Fox. Fox. Yeah, that would sounds good. Yeah.
All right. So what do you want to create? What list do you want to go through?
Sorry, talking about
Samurai.
yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man.
Okay, so we need to figure out who was playing with the rod during downtime. So it's like Dee Dee or Capra or Duggan or Sunny.
Das could play with it as well. He can just use items.
Or Das. Okay, so Dee Dee, Capra, Duggan, Sunny, Das. So D5. Dee Dee, Capra, Duggan.
Yep.
All right.
Oh boy. Oh god. Trouble.
Okay, so
I stole the rod.
all right. So during the end of that week, let's go to the Steel Rose stairwell.
Okay.
Duggan was investigating some of the treasures to figure out what he could do with these rods, if there's precious materials that could be used, this sort of thing. And he started playing with it. We had Slake nearby. Slake was making his vecchias, and we have Cog, who there's a bunch of information on the tokens, but that's okay. Cog was developing potions, which is basically his next downtime step.
Yeah. He's writing. He's
Marty, what's Duggan Schmurf's use magic device?
Duggan Schmurf. The Dugmeister has a plus 13.
Okay. He fiddles with the rod. Let's roll a use magic device to see what happens.
oh crap.
24.
Okay. I think that's the DC of the check, which means he uses the rod and it pings off. And so what happens when this pings off, Marty?
So there is a brief sort of magical flash from the rod itself, but the magic dissipates. You get the sense that like it's springing out an aura very, very wide. Both Cog and Slake feel the weird pinging in their head. Like it's a chiming in their head, and then Slake's like stops what he's doing and starts to like, ah! Thought we killed the wizard.
No, but looks like we're gonna have to kill something else.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Stop using that.
What did Duggan sense? Does he know the direction of the, or does he just know that's within the range?
Duggan activated the item, and
Let's take a look at what those items do.
yeah,
It's a rod of mineral detection, I believe.
yep. Duggan knows that, well, the rod is now pulsing and humming in the wielder's hand. As he holds it out and aims it, the pulsations grow noticeable as he points it towards either Slake or Cog.
Okay.
And this seems to drive them batty, like they're scratching at their heads. And so for Cog, there's a little gyro that is spinning. The gyro is not attached to anything. It has nothing to do with your function, and it's just spinning.
It's a find my phone device. Find my construct.
And if the mineral is within 30 feet, the rod points to any place that it is located. And the wielder knows the approximate quantity as well. Duggan now knows that there's both a P of whatever metal is at the end, whatever mineral is captured in the little compartment at the end of the rod. Duggan knows that there's a tiny P of that metal in Slake's head, and there's a different shaped P of that mineral in Cog's head as well. And Cog's one is spinning, and Slake's mineral is just agitating.
It's just vibrating.
It's just vibrating.
Right, well, nobody did nothing. Don't worry about it. He probably concentrates for 2 rounds on the 2 different, so probably, like, the annoyance goes on for at least 3 rounds, it sounds like. Right, so...
What are you doing?
well, I'm doing nothing. I hear like this ting 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 of like a rod hitting the table,
Yeah.
and the sound of Duggan going invisible. Right, so did you hear my call?
Yeah, it was really, really loud this time. I mean, louder than before.
Hey, I'm Cog. Did you hear the call?
Yes, but apparently that Slake gets much more offended by it.
Well, he might just be more offensive in general.
It's not pleasant.
It's like there's a ringing bell in my head. Like I'm inside the church bell as it's being rang.
Well, why don't we take a look inside the rod here and see what we've got sort of stuck in your head? Maybe what's inside is valuable. Maybe not. We'll take we're gonna, Duggan is going to try to remove the compartment off the front of the rod to investigate the material type, this Q stone. Cast enchantment spells on golems? Cool. Alright, Duggan is going to take a look at the material, and we have a rock. Here, let's just take a look at this. Alright, so there's a yellowish sample of stone inside the end of the rod.
Yep.
I don't believe Duggan has skills appropriate with identifying this. Nope. It's not gold. It's not silver. Not diamond. Don't know what it is. But you got a wee bit of this in your head. And yours looks like a hula hoop, and his looks like a pea.
My head plates don't open. I tried. They don't.
Well, Maybe it's your brain and it's like a pea.
I'll show you pea brain, you little blue fart. Come here. Where are you?
And up we fly.
Perhaps, if we find out what kind of magic it is, there perhaps might be something we can put on to block it. I know there's certain materials, like when we went deep into this, when we went deeper into the structure, it wasn't as strong. So perhaps if we find out what kind of magic it is and get the right materials, it might be expensive. We can make you put a helmet on that would protect you from it.
Juggernaut helmet.
Some tinfoil hats.
A lead foil hat.
Hey man, I'm trying to help.
Lid line hat.
Leave the constructs alone, man.
Okay, Duggan is going to swap the material in the rod. He's going to attempt to activate it with a more common metal.
Okay.
I think we had steel as one of them.
Yeah, you can definitely take a bit of rusty steel and you put it in the rod and you activate the rod. I think the rod.
I had that open a second ago. The mineral protection. If it has a charges per day type.
It doesn't.
All right, so
yeah, he gets a wild response from the rusty steel, and it's just all around him. It's like overwhelming, and dink, the rod leads him to like the nearest steel panel.
did he sense any on the constructs? Is there any steel in the construction of the golems? I would assume yes, somewhere.
Yeah. He has to almost get right up next to them for the rod to actually to poke the constructs, though.
And it doesn't drive them back. Right?
It doesn't drive them batty.
Yeah. Well, at least we can use this without it actually making them mad. So we could find silvers or golds or platinums or other things with it.
Yeah. Or I could break it over my knee, says Slake.
Oh, God. My internet.
What is this internet you speak of?
We can still see you and hear you.
Okay. It just, for a second there, it was Robotron.
I could also break the rod over my knee.
Well, hold on now, big fella. We could use this to find treasure, or find you, or find your brother.
It's that gem that's affecting us.
Are you saying they put this weird yellow thing in my head?
Hold on a second. This gem is in our heads. We have the same type of gem in our heads.
We're not the same kind of construct. You're all made
We're
of
not.
fine work, and I'm
We're not, but listen to what I'm saying.
clanky.
The gem in your head is the same as the gem in my head.
It doesn't make any sense.
So maybe they're using this gem in other constructs. Maybe they have a resource. Maybe we can find the source of the gems.
What is this yellow stuff?
Doesn't matter, as long as we have a sample of it, we can probably find more of it.
Looks like shit. Looks like shit. Why would I care?
Slake is now looking at the empty vials.
Yep.
Is there any residue in the empty vials that matches the yellow stuff?
Yes. There's like a full size piece. It's a crumbly piece of stone, and there's definitely some powder in there.
Okay, what does it match up with, label-wise?
The Q stone.
What the fuck is Q stone? Is it a Q or a backwards P? P stone?
What are you
guys doing?
They've got P stones in their P brains. Like the Qs.
That's funny. No, it's a Q, but I wished it was P.
Well, and they've got Q-stone in their pea brains then.
Watch it.
What's the stone doing in both of their brains?
That we don't know. It's possible that maybe
I don't like
this
the...
is like a sanctioned golem thing.
Why is it warm?
You can see a little bit of it kind of.
It's warm. It's like a little bit warm.
Is there any magic coming off it?
No.
So it's a crystal or metal. Is it only metals that it works on? What about crystal? Like a diamond? Find diamonds.
There's an empty vial called diamond in here.
You can try it.
Great. If this thing can find diamonds, it can find rubies and emeralds and more diamonds. We're going to be rich with this rod. It's mine. It's all mine.
It's too good.
Hold your horses now.
Don't have any horses, although I'll have many horses. I'll own all the horses and...
Well, how about we first figure out our problem, and you can do with the rod whatever you like. Because if you don't, Snake's gonna shove it right up your ass.
No, I'm gonna break it over my knee if I get a hold of that thing. I don't like the pinging.
Or shove it up your ass and break it over his knee.
I also don't like that it can track us down, if that's what you're saying.
Well, maybe it can do that. I mean, I knew exactly what you were when I used the thingy. I mean, when it accidentally went off when I was touching it.
I've got a couple of questions. One, who made this rod? Is it like a common rod? Two, if this is a unique item, maybe we can find items similar like it. And maybe the third thing is maybe we can just
Yeah, Duggan.
find more of those yellow gems.
Duggan, yep.
Rod is 5 pounds. Dugan's weight limit is 7.5 for light. So yeah, Dugan's having a hard time flying around with this thing. His medium 15 pounds. So he's like struggling to move it around, kind of thing.
Well, Eddie, so here's what we're going to do, Slake. We are going to find a way, not using magic, to protect your pea brain.
Don't call it that. It's a Q brain. No, it's a Q stone.
And he's holding up the vial of it.
Why don't we?
I don't feel its warmth.
Yeah, but your hands are all
Metal. He puts the little
Why
vial
don't
down.
we do this? Why don't we, to test it? Why don't we just put Slake and myself behind different metals? We've got all sorts of metals here, and try to use the rod through it. It's going to be aggravating. Slake, I don't mind. It doesn't aggravate me that much. I don't mind going through this testing.
It feels like my whole head's shaking.
Then let me do it. It doesn't bother me as much.
If you break Cog, I break you.
What if Cog was broken before we found him?
If you break him, I break you!
Slake's gonna go and he's kicking things. He's gonna go disappear into his little makeshift workshop and move his tools, organize his tools, and make some noise and swear lots. And he doesn't get tired, so just imagine being angry and never getting tired. It's a thing.
okay, let's not break Cog. Let's not break him.
I'm assuming by Adam's face that internet is.
I can hear
Craptacular.
robo voices, but that's it.
Okay, then. Okay, I'm going to put my quality down to minimal. My stream quality down to, like, medium.
Ahmed sounding normal again.
Marty, can you drop yours slightly?
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're at three bars
it's
again.
not a bandwidth thing, Ahmed. Jessica's like, it's broken again. I'm like, I know it's broken. It'll be cleared up in 30 seconds, and then.
Cool, I'm going to crazy HD. Woo!
It won't matter. We've got a massive pipe going to the house. It's a binary thing where it works and then it doesn't work and then it works again. And it's a guy's coming tomorrow to take a look, and then he's going to say I fixed a thing, or I'm going to call them back, and I'm actually going to call them instead of using their text service so that I can inform them of the issues.
Yep.
Tell him to check their
It's 100%. This will not happen again next Saturday because.
Okay, so the Fae play with the rod and realize that they can like detect Cog, and the best thing to use to detect Cog, because there's no other metal for it, is this weird Q stone.
Yeah, there's nothing else that.
The Q
The
stone.
other thing that they want to try to figure out eventually would be if there's like a sheet of lead, like if that spell is blocked by some of the normal, the usual.
We need Sunny. Can we stop this magic somehow?
Yeah, I guess you guys don't really have.
I don't think we have a sheet of lead.
No. It probably gets blocked by like great amounts of material, but you guys in this room, standing within
5 feet, 10 feet.
Yeah. Within 30 feet. Somehow that wizard was making it pulse like at great distances.
Yeah. We are at the stairwell, right? Stairwell. There we go. Right.
All right, I don't know if this is. I want to reset my router. I don't think it's going to do anything, but
Okay.
this is not playable.
Given that this thing is a item, Ahmed, that it doesn't require spellcasting to use. You just need to learn the item's command word.
Yeah.
I think this is going on Cog. It's too heavy for Duggan to carry, like effectively. Dee Dee's also laden with stuff. So I think Cog is going to carry the metal detection rod. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, I'm going to put that on your sheet, and I'm going to put the kit with all the metal samples in it also on your sheet.
Okay. Okay. I think there's a couple of spells for detect. Hold on. There's a couple of spells for detecting metal, actually.
Okay. The next stage in downtime, I'm just gonna like take over for Adam while he's going through technical difficulties, because we're really just doing downtime. Let me share the downtime sheet, and let me make this bigger so people can read with what the characters are doing during downtime. So we finished training. Slake is doing crafting, as he spent some of his skill points in crafting. For the next two, in crafting weapons and armor, he's gotten better at it. He's got a couple of things that he's already paid the material components for. Remember, he hates magic, so he's not crafting anything magical. He's going to try to put masterwork. He's going to build masterwork armor spikes for his full plate. It will take 3 days to do, and the DC is 18. So I'm going to roll that now. We're going to go through some downtime. Let's see if he can put spikes on his armor. His craft weapons is +9 with his tools. He needs DC 18. He gets a 19. He now has masterwork spikes on his full plate.
Nice.
Cool. So that is done. That takes 3 days. He doesn't sleep. So he has, instead of 10 days, he's got 30 days of work. He's now going to build a masterwork heavy steel shield and a masterwork buckler. He wants a masterwork shield for every occasion. Right now he's got his masterwork tower shield, but he's going to create 2 shields. His craft armor is +10, and he needs DC 18 for both the heavy steel shield. So we'll do the heavy steel shield first, which he finishes. Nice. And then the Masterwork Buckler, he's getting lucky at these. He also is able to jam through that. Slake is gaining confidence as a crafter. All right, that means he crafted for 9 days out of 30. He is now going to craft... we're going to say it's 1.5 days per Masterwork Javelin. He took brutal throw as his feat at 4th level. And he's just going to crank out Masterwork Javelins. They're about 100 apiece in materials, and he's got a plus 8. What was it? 8 to his roll? 9. He needs DC 16 to make javelins. So I'm going to roll a bunch of rolls. I think I'll stop at 6 for now. Makes it, and then he failed on the last one. So he made 500 gold pieces worth of Masterwork Javelins, so 5 of them. And I think that last one didn't fail by 10, so he loses 50 gold, and he'll just spend time later on fixing that particular Masterwork Javelin. The rest of the time he spends doing some work for Benson, collecting garbage and scrap metal from different places within the factory, and I think that's Slake's downtime. Basically, he finished crafting Adam 2 shields, armor for his spikes on his armor, and he crafted 5 Masterwork Javelins before he screwed one up.
So he's a machine.
Yep. He now carries a Masterwork Tower Shield, a Masterwork Heavy Steel Shield, and a Masterwork Buckler, so he's got a shield for every occasion. And he's got 5 Masterwork Javelins and a pile of weapons. Like he is that scene where it's like hand over your weapons, and he spends the next 5 minutes like handing over weapons.
Well, it's only going to get worse, because if you don't put magic on things, what the hell does he spend treasure on?
Yep. All right. So that was Slake's crafting. Agony is going to spend time trading. You guys need to trade in your goods. He's also producing the money that you need to pay for your trainers, as well as all of your living expenses in the poor category for the entire season. So Agony is pretty easy. Dee Dee also spends time trading on behalf of the party, so she spends 10 days doing that. Capra, you wanted to spend time selling your hippogriff with the license. Is there a particular way in which you're going about selling this?
Well, we're gonna go to the gator, the mad gator,
okay,
and figure out if he knows who would be interested in a licensed hippogriff. A semi-licensed hippogriff.
Okay, do you have knowledge arcana or any sort of merchant skills, like appraise?
I've got appraise and knowledge arcana.
Yeah, give me an appraise or a knowledge arcana check, whichever is higher. You can add a synergy bonus with a plus if you have a 5 ranks or more, which you don't as a 4th level character.
I'm 4th level.
Never you mind. The DC is 20.
I get 19.
Okay, and then in the next week?
16.
Okay, you have a line on a buyer, but the Mad Gatter is trying to help you arrange it, and it's just not happening. Selling a 5,000 gold piece thing when you're marketing when basically the old stacks is a slum, it's hard to do. It's
you're
like
trying to sell a Lamborghini.
You're trying to sell a Lamborghini, and everyone's like, I walk to work, dude. It's just over there. All right. Duggan Schmurf is just doing downtime. We'll talk to Mark about what it is that Duggan Schmurf is doing during that downtime when he returns. He does have a little bit of money. Cog is learning new spells as an alchemist and crafting potions. You've been hard at work at doing that, Ahmed?
Yeah, so...
Do you have to roll checks to learn any of these spells?
No. No, it's just
Your
gold.
alchemy is high enough that you can make
Yep.
those checks. Okay.
Yeah. Now I think I have more spare time because I've learned so these spells are costing me 40 gold pieces a day,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember if the limit is what the limit is per day. Is it number of spells or gold?
It's hours.
Okay.
It's spell circles. 1 hour per circle.
It's 1 hour to learn the
1 hour
spell,
per
and then 1
circle.
hour per circle to copy it into your spell book.
Right. So I've learned 8-second circle spells, which is 16 hours, which is a day.
24 hours, so that's a full day spending spells,
right.
and you now have 9 more days of 24 hours around the clock of.
Right.
What's your alchemy for like learning? Because
The
Sunny's also pretty smart, and he's like
My
a little bit better than 50-50.
my craft alchemy is 16.
Okay, so the DC of learning spells is 15 plus spell level.
So 17.
And are you adding your alchemical bonus or not? Because that doesn't apply. That's to crafting.
I have a. Oh, it's only for crafting. I have a
Yeah.
+4 to level.
Yeah, that's
Craft.
not included. So you have to roll. You have to roll to learn these spells.
Okay.
Right. I got a +10.
Yeah.
So I have 8.
So
Number sign. It's 12. And I need 4 or higher. 15. No, 5 or higher. Failed on the
First and last one.
Okay, so that was the first and last one. So, can I redo those, or do I
Next
have to
level.
wait? Okay, I have to wait next level. Okay, which is
Yes, this feels more appropriate. Okay, and then you're building potions. You have effectively what that means. You have 9 days of crafting potions, and you can spend 27 work days of building potions. You'll run out of money before you.
you can make 4. One potion takes 2. For a normal crafter, it's 2 hours per potion as long as the potion is less than 20 or 250 gold pieces.
All right, Ahmed's figuring that out. Amadeus is spending some of his gold. We'll ask Mark when he returns what he spent his gold on, and then if he has time left over, he's just patrolling the neighborhood. Dassod was searching for an item. So you were trying to buy an item that is beyond the value of the current marketplaces.
correct. So I need to search for that puppy.
Yep. So I'm going to say that this is a something related to mercantilism, profession, maybe appraise or knowledge arcana.
Sure. Could I use my? Give me a sec. Could I use my any other like social skills to find my way around, to get my way into a right circle?
Yes, but you need to find someone
To
who.
find the place. So, okay, yeah, that's the wrong character. That's Dassod. All right, there we go. Okay, because I'm like, why is that so low? So, you want a
Profession, merchant, appraise, knowledge arcana.
knowledge arcana or appraise? Okay, they're all the same level. +7.
The DC's 20.
Oh, balls. Yes.
Okay. So you spend 1 week searching for the item, and eventually you do find someone who will sell you the item. Now you can give me a diplomacy check or some sort of appraise check.
Okay.
First, give me an appraise.
Okay. 16.
Dassod ends up getting charged 2,500 gold pieces for the hat.
I don't have 2,500 gold.
Okay. You're going to try to haggle?
Yes.
Okay, give me a diplomacy or a bluff or...
So I'd like to bluff that you already know me. I've been here before. I'm one of your good customers.
Okay, give me a bluff check.
All right. Let's use these new skills and new feats. 25.
All right, so somehow they're like, yeah, I remember you, and
You want me to come back again, right?